ladies and gentlemen. I thank the co-chairs, Hungary and the Philippines, of the group of Friends of Water, Sanitation and Hygiene, WASH, in the healthcare facilities for organizing this important side event. Recognizing the global health crisis posed by the lack of WASH infrastructure and services in healthcare facilities, the United Nations General Assembly has called for ensuring basic WASH services in all healthcare facilities under SDG 6 by 2030. Excellencies, in Bangladesh, around 98% of people have access to drinking water and more than 80% to improved sanitation facilities. Nearly three-fourths of the population use hand washing facilities with soap and water. We are committed to have 100% coverage for hand washing facilities by 2030, while Bangladesh continues to lead in international research on certain waterborne diseases. Our government has developed a national strategy for water supply and sanitation 2021 in alignment with the SDGs with special focus in healthcare settings. We have identified WASH as a core cross-cutting issue in our flagship policy document, the 8th Five-Year Plan. We have also established the National Technical Committee, including WHO, UNICEF, and WaterAid, to ensure the implementation of National Strategy for WASH in healthcare facilities. Bangladesh pioneered the community-led total sanitation approach for promoting sanitation, which is now recognized and replicated in many developing countries. Partnering with various stakeholders, we have taken multi-sectoral approach to ensure the provision of safe water, sanitation, and hygiene in healthcare facilities. Ladies and gentlemen, globally 78% of healthcare facilities had a basic water service and 51% had basic hygiene services in 2021. 10% of these facilities, used by around 780 million people, had no sanitation service in 2021. Excellencies, in light of our experiences up to grassroots, I would like to offer the following suggestions for consideration by our international partners. First, support resource-constrained settings to developing WASH standards and guidelines for healthcare facilities in response to various climate hotspots with the particular set of water availability challenges. Second, share indigenous and innovative WASH solutions in the healthcare facilities in different contexts with other comparable solutions, along with appropriate financial and technical support for replication and scaling up. Third, produce evidence-based research on the linkages between WASH facilities in healthcare facilities and medical waste management in order for local policymakers and international development partners to design and invest in solutions for comprehensive healthcare management. Fourth, explore the possibility of integrating WASH in HCFs with ongoing disclosure on addressing the growing threat of antimicrobial resistance. And finally, maintain advocacy for according WASH in healthcare facilities a prominent consideration in the context of the Action Agenda on Water, the New Urban Agenda, and the Sendai Framework for Disaster Risk Reduction, among other international policy documents. I thank you all. George.
May I call on Faatiha to speak on water for the next generation.
Today, we are discussing here about the collaboration for water resilience. But let me start with a daunting example about the lack of collaboration so that we can understand why collaboration is so important. Despite sharing 54 rivers, India and Bangladesh, two densely populated countries in South Asia, have not signed a single bilateral treaty on water sharing in the last quarter of a century. They have not discussed the river water sharing issue through their common platform, the Joint River Commission, for the past 10 years. What could be a worse example of the lack of collaboration than this? Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi has recently visited Bangladesh in celebration of 50 years of independence of the country. However, as always, the high-profile visit failed to address the river water sharing dispute, which is currently the most important bilateral issue facing India and Bangladesh today. I, as an 11-year-old child rights activist and climate campaigner, am truly worried about the future of water that my generation has to encounter. This is why I am scared, anxious, and worried, and I am raising my voice. Let me tell you a little more about this. Then you will understand and realize my point of concern. In 2011, India agreed to share 37.5% of joint waters, while retaining 42.5% of waters during the lean season between December and March. However, that deal never went through. Bangladesh is not receiving its fair share of water. Moreover, constant building of dams along the upstream of the Tista River and the diversion of water for several hydropower projects has resulted in lean seasonal flow draining into Bangladesh. Since Bangladesh is a low riparian country, it is naturally sensitive about transboundary water issues as it leads to adverse impacts on agriculture, fishing, and the overall livelihood of people in Bangladesh. It's not only the Tista River. India and Bangladesh share numerous amount of joint rivers, including the Ganga, Brahmaputra, and others. Water sharing has been a contentious issue between these two countries for decades. India is not adhering to bilateral agreements and is failing to share water in a fair and equitable manner. Additionally, environmental degradation, climate change, and unplanned urbanization has exacerbated the problem, leading to increased river erosion, water logging, and salinity intrusion in the coastal belt. Thus, the lack of collaboration between India and Bangladesh has had significant negative impacts on Bangladesh as the country flooded when India released the dam, and Bangladesh was in a severe drought when India closed the dam. The lack of collaboration between India and Bangladesh has also led to mistrust and tension between the two countries, and this has made it difficult to find a mutually acceptable solution to the water sharing issue. The water sharing dispute remains unresolved, causing strain between the relationship between India and Bangladesh. I'd like to end my speech today by mentioning how it feels and reminding everyone how it feels when you are thirsty and there is no water to drink. Especially today, just a day before Ramadan, when Muslim people will fast from sunrise to sunset without drinking a sip of water. I'd like to conclude my speech by mentioning a very short verse from the Holy Quran, chapter 25, verse 53. وهو الذي مرج البحرين هذا عذب فرات وهذا ملح أجاج وجعل بينهما برزخا وحجرا محجورا. And this means, it is He who released the two bodies of water, one sweet and fresh, and the other salty and bitter. And He has set a partition and a complete barrier between them. So, dear audience, let's not pollute and destroy the sweet water that we all know we need for the survival of our planet.
I hope everyone was in a listening mode. I think the message is clear that we all need to work together to protect, and let us mean when we say we collaborate. I think that was the message. Thank you, Faatiha.